Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Steve's Wrestling Ramble here on a very busy night for me. Also, I'm keeping my eye on and tweeting out about the New Hampshire primary. I do talk politics and a little bit, but usually that's for my Twitter handle at politics underscore WY. But here on Steve's Wrestling Ramble, we'll be talking a little bit about Raw, not too much, simply the big moments, and then directly going into talking about Daniel Bryan's retirement. So depending on if people join the show or not, this might be a long or short episode. Either way, I just want to give my thoughts on both topics. First, let's go into Monday Night Raw, or formerly called Raw's War. Raw for February 8th, 2016. Monday Night Raw in Seattle, Washington, the home state of Daniel Bryan, not the home town, but the home state of Daniel Bryan, where he announced his retirement. Like I said, that'll be in a separate part of this episode. Raw itself, Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, a little more altercation there. They kicked off the show with the signing of the number one contenders match that is set for WWE Fastlane. That's just a mere 2 weeks away. Excuse me, I apologize. Just 2 weeks away. Next week, excuse me, next week I will have my prediction episode, which that one will start with a quick Raw review and going into predictions for WWE Fastlane. So another pay-per-view coming up fast. In the fast lane on the road to WrestleMania. So they had the contract signing for the number one contender match at Fastlane. Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar. Dean Ambrose being Dean Ambrose and True Lunatic Fringe, his gimmick with Brock's face, getting crap beat out of him, throwing like a rag doll. And the funniest part actually is not Dean chest bumping Brock Lesnar, but when Brock Lesnar threw that table at Roman Reigns, the way it hit him, I almost thought that something went wrong. Like he went a little too hard, got too much in the moment, sort of thing. Like sometimes there's moments like that when you have Brock Lesnar in a promo or in a match. You think sometimes he goes a little too far, but in the end, everything was, I'm sure, planned and booked out to be that way. Then you had Triple H coming out with the title over his shoulder, the stare down. I kind of wish he would have said something, but then again, maybe that moment didn't need him to say anything. I guess another importance of Raw. Uh, Jericho and The Miz kind of back and forth exchange. On first it was Miz TV, then it turned into Chris Jericho's highlight reel, and AJ Styles comes out there. Looks like it could be a triple threat between those three. Uh, Miz just thrown into there, just see him alone, have him do something for Fastlane or WrestleMania either way. But the main one being Jericho and AJ Styles, because they're having that rematch actually on SmackDown. So and beyond that, also the Divas. Sasha Banks, like I said, I still think she's gonna have her moment at WrestleMania, but um, there is Alicia Fox versus the champion Charlotte. Now, Brie Bella might have came out to do something, but with the seriousness of going on with her husband and him having to retire and him having the speech later on, I guess they decided it was in their best interest of WWE and for Brie Bella to not have her, you know, do anything, not a run-in, not a promo at the top of the ramp, not a anything, or not even, you would think she would have been down there ringside for uh, for Foxy, for Alicia Fox, um, if things weren't what they were last night for her and her family. I think I pretty much got the main points of Raw that didn't have to do with Daniel Bryan. Um, so I guess I'll just jump right into Daniel Bryan announcing his retirement from professional wrestling, not just WWE. At least from what I take from it. Apologize for that. What I take from it, that he's retiring in totality. That's too bad. He's a pretty good. He's a very good wrestler. A good person. A person that keeps it real, as like the people like to say. He's honest, sometimes to a fault. In a lesser extent, he's kind of like Donald Trump. We're talking politics. For tonight's New Hampshire primary, Daniel Bryan, Donald Trump. In that way, difference is Daniel Bryan has more of a filter, so he can eloquate his words much better. But in the end, like Donald Trump, he's gonna say what he's feeling. He's gonna mean what he says, and he's gonna say it with some some gusto, some oomph, some foresight behind it, and realism behind it as well. But his speech and everything very well done by him, of course. Well said and everything that he brought up, and even acknowledged Kane, who sometimes isn't a fan favorite of everybody's, but at least for that night and that moment he was, because that's true. Kane, the character Kane, is built to be a monster, but the man behind the mask, Mr. Glenn Jacobs, is a very smart man. I mean, I've even reached out to him on my political Twitter handle to get his thoughts on the 2016 presidential race for both parties, or just in general. So that was a cool moment as well, beyond anything and everything else he said. I did tweet out earlier in the night or just before, I don't remember specifically when, but I tweeted out that I thought that this was kind of predetermined, pre-planned for it to be here or there in Seattle, Washington, where they're going to have him announce. Now, it could have just worked out that way with him having that final test and figuring out, okay, his brain is not as well as he thought it was, and now he has to retire due to that medical reason. Due to the medical reason that's already been hampering him since his win, since his moment at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. But it's too bad. Like I said, career cut short, at least in the WWE. I mean, his career, in a whole retrospect, was 16 years. But in the WWE specifically, you can say and argue that it was cut short in that way. But anyways, I was tweeting that I thought it was kind of pre-planned or determined that they were going to do it here because it was his hometown. The fans would be the most receptive there. And like I said, it's his home state, not hometown, but home state. That'd be the best for Daniel Bryan and WWE, and even more so for WWE. Now I know I've heard some people talk on Twitter or however about how they're mad at WWE and blaming all on them and the doctors. Well, they're a publicly traded company now. They have to do what's best for business for themselves and the welfare of Daniel Bryan. Because if they really wanted to be selfish and whatever else that some of the WWE universe calls them, and I'm sure at some points, sometimes they are. It is a cutthroat business of sports entertainment, professional wrestling. If they really wanted to be that way, they could have forced Daniel Bryan to wrestle, cleared him, even when he shouldn't have been cleared, because they know Daniel Bryan wants to get back in that ring. They know his fans are um, rabid and very interested and want him to be back in the WWE ring and wrestle. But they could have taken that route and have him back in the ring and risk him getting further injury. He could get injured so bad, especially if the neck issue, even more than the concussion issue, um, could, I hate to say it, be like Darren Drozdoff, actually a friend of Paul Triple H back, because I know even Triple H spoke about it in the one of like the earliest Tough Enough episodes. His friend, and then with the concussions, if you brought it back so fast, or WWE tried to do it that way, we could have another other situation. On the other hand, that you guys know what I mean when I say that. Um, one of those I don't need to say it. You know what I mean when what I'm alluding to. But so WWE wasn't that way. WWE was respectful, thinking of Daniel Bryan, his family, themselves. What was the best interest for Daniel Bryan? What's best for business for WWE? Everybody involved. But I can guarantee you, in my heart, now it's not just me shilling for the company, but this is me being honest, 100. WWE was looking out for Daniel Bryan, or even in more terms his real name, Bryan Danielson, for himself, for his well-being, so he could so he could just live to an old age, be with his family, be with his wife, have kids, all that other stuff. Have a bright future that he can have even outside of the ring. Now, what's the future for hold for Daniel Bryan? I would like to see him as a trainer, maybe even as a authority figure of some kind of Raw or SmackDown. If they go back to that, get rid of the authority, because you can have a face member of management there, as a commissioner or just general manager role. They do bring that back. They do have a brand split again after WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, Texas, which I am campaigning for. I don't I think it's like a 40% likelihood, but you know, so what I would be campaigning for is having the WWE brand split, the, the WWE draft, and all the other stuff back, the world title back, the whole kit and caboodle, because you have SmackDown all growing and rising in fame with Mauro Ranallo as the voice of SmackDown. More you're getting viewership there. It's on USA Network along with Raw now. The only next step would be going live on Tuesdays, but if that's not feasible with WWE, then I guess it's understandable. You can't get everything. So it would be nice to see Daniel Bryan in that kind of role, or even a trainer role. But from Daniel Bryan's personality, for what he's said in the past in interviews, documentaries, and alike, he's even already said no to some of those offers from WWE already in this process before he got to this point of retirement, and it being a reality for him and for the WWE universe, especially members of the Yes movement, his strongest supporters. And to those fans, whether it's Deluxe Men or others, if you're watching this at all, I have to say is, cherish the memories, and at least, you get to have a retired Daniel Bryan than him in a different look if WWE did force him to come back. So hopefully I can take that with solace, because those memories will last forever. In the future, he'll be in the WWE Hall of Fame. He'll he'll be doing all of those things. And just I wish him the best. I really do. In all honesty, I just hope that he has a good life. That he's not too heavily onto this decision. This had to be done in his best interest for him and his family, best interest for WWE. Uh, it's just tough. I know I've said in the past that this is where I thought it was going to happen. I thought he was going to have to retire. I thought this was going to be what was the outcome of everything. As we got longer and longer of his presence away from the ring, the more and more likely it was that he was never going to be back in a WWE ring. So as much as I say I was right in that prediction, I didn't want to be. Trust me, I didn't want to be correct in that prediction. But that was my prediction. That was my thoughts. That was my opinion on that. So even though I'm correct in that opinion, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. But like I said, it was best for Daniel Bryan, best for WWE, and this is not the time and place for a fan like me, or really a fan like anybody, to be quite honest, to be selfish. Just because I know his Jewish supporters, so as they want to be, they know and realize that this was best for Daniel Bryan, and they know that Daniel Bryan, if as hard as he fought and hard as he wanted that not to be the truth, not have to be the harsh reality, that he would have to hang it up, have to retire from professional wrestling. but he himself came to the realization of it and handled it with class, grace, and for that, I show gratitude to you, Daniel Bryan. Gratitude of even in the face of something that you didn't want to happen. You were really trying to make sure it didn't happen because you wanted to get back in that ring. That you still A, made the correct decision, and B, when you were able to speak to the WWE Universe as you did last night on Raw, you did it in a eloquent, respectful way. Toward the fans, toward the WWE, toward everybody. Excuse me. It's very well done. Hmm. We'll see how things go. I certainly hope the best for him moving forward, obviously, as do all the other WWE Universe. Sorry, just trying to check something. But I wish him the best and good luck to him, and hopefully that all works out. Thank you to all that watch live, watch an archive. Welcome to leave a like, share, subscribe. Welcome to follow me on Twitter at WB_podcast. Hopefully next week I'll be able to have some of my cohorts. Also, check out main event marks every week Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern at main event_marks. Check out me and the crew there. And then also check out another wrestling podcast on Twitter at a wrestling pod, and Steve Credo and his cohort JB there as well. Another wrestling podcast.com. You can also find them on Stitcher Radio app and iTunes. So with that, enjoy the rest of your evening. I will be back Thursday night to talk about the NFL Super Bowl, my reaction to everything in that regard. And as always, take care.